She will regret it. A psychological and emotional story about love, loss, realization, and self-respect. Regret. It always comes late. It doesn't knock before entering. It waits until the room is empty, until silence is heavy, and then it whispers, "Now you understand." This is not just a story about heartbreak. It's a story about awakening, about a man who gave everything, lost everything, and finally found himself again when she realized what she had truly lost. Let's begin. His name was Arif, a simple man with simple dreams, quiet, loyal, and deeply emotional. He believed in old-fashioned love, the kind that grows slowly and stays strong. He wasn't perfect, but he was real. And then there was Lara. Beautiful, confident, unpredictable. The kind of woman who walked into a room and changed the energy without saying a word. She lived fast, she lived loud, and she believed life was too short to stay still. When they met, Arif thought he'd found his forever. Lara thought she'd found her excitement. And that was their first difference. In the beginning, everything was magical. The long conversations at night, the laughter over nothing, the feeling that two hearts had finally found the same rhythm. But you know how time works. It slowly removes the filters and shows who we really are. At first, Lara loved how much Arif cared. She loved how he noticed everything, her moods, her likes, the little things she never said. But as months turned into years, what she once called love, she began calling too much. One night, during an argument that began over something meaningless, she said those words that would echo in his heart for years. "You're too emotional, Arif. You care too much." He didn't reply. He just stood there, silent, because how do you defend caring? From that day, everything changed. The texts became shorter. The calls became fewer. The smiles became polite instead of warm. Lara's world was growing. New friends, new career goals, new parties. Arif's world was shrinking. Same job, same home, same longing. He didn't complain. He told himself love means patience. He told himself she would come back when she was ready. But she didn't. Weeks turned into months, and slowly she began to disappear. Not physically, but emotionally. She stopped asking how his day was. Stopped noticing his silence. Stopped appreciating the quiet ways he loved her. And then one evening, she said the sentence that broke him completely. "I think we need a break." Break. A harmless-sounding word that often means, "I want out, but I'm not brave enough to say it." He didn't fight her. He just said, "If that's what makes you happy," because love had made him gentle, and gentleness often looks like weakness to people who mistake noise for strength. That night, Arif sat alone in the dark. He didn't cry, he just felt empty. Like all the energy he had poured into someone had nowhere to go now. He looked around his apartment and realized everything reminded him of her. The cup she used, the blanket she liked, even the playlist they made together. And yet, she was gone. A month later, he saw her again, but not with him. She was laughing, glowing, standing next to another man. And that image burned something inside him that words could never heal. But instead of anger, something else began to grow, a kind of silent understanding. Sometimes, love isn't lost. It's simply misplaced in the wrong person. So Arif did the hardest thing anyone can do. He didn't chase her. He didn't beg. He didn't send long messages explaining how he felt. He simply disappeared. He started rebuilding, slowly, painfully. Morning walks, reading again, talking to people who didn't make him feel small, learning how to be happy without depending on someone's approval. And in that silence, something beautiful happened. He found himself again. Months later, Lara started to feel it, the regret. It doesn't come all at once. It arrives quietly. At first, it's just a random thought. He was actually a good man. Then a memory. No one ever looked at me the way he did. Then a sharp ache when she realizes the new man doesn't listen, doesn't notice, doesn't care. Regret grows in the space where gratitude once should have lived. One night, she opened their old chat, scrolling, reading, remembering how gently he spoke. She saw messages she never replied to, words she once ignored, and she whispered to herself, "He really loved me." But by then, it was too late. Regret doesn't knock on your door until the person you took for granted stops waiting outside it. Lara started to see how her freedom came at a cost. Yes, she had parties. Yes, she had options. But what she didn't have anymore was someone who saw her soul. She remembered the way Arav looked at her, not with lust, but with love. He didn't want to own her. He just wanted to understand her. And she threw that away because she thought love should feel exciting, not consistent. Now she understood the truth. Excitement fades. Consistency stays. And that realization hurts more than heartbreak. Meanwhile, Arav was changing, truly changing. He no longer looked for validation. He no longer waited for closure. He didn't even wish her bad. He had reached the rarest kind of peace, the one that comes after you finally stop hoping someone will understand you. And that's when life quietly gave him what he deserved. New opportunities, new friendships, and a kind of inner glow that can't be faked. People started to notice. Even Lara did. One evening, months later, she saw him again, not in person, but online. He looked different, calm, grounded, happy. And that's when the real regret hit her, not because she missed him, but because she finally realized what she lost. He was everything I prayed for her after I lost him. Regret has a cruel way of teaching lessons. It doesn't shout. It doesn't argue. It just shows you a reflection of the person you used to have and whispers, you let that go. Lara tried to reach out, a small text, a little, hey, how are you? Arav saw it. And for a moment, his heart stirred. But he smiled, not with bitterness, not with pride, but with peace. He didn't reply, because he finally understood something powerful. Sometimes silence is the loudest closure. The truth is, yes, she did regret it. But the story isn't about her regret. It's about his rebirth. Because when someone breaks you, they don't expect you to rise stronger. They expect you to stay small, still waiting. But Arav didn't wait. He grew. He learned that the most powerful revenge is not anger, it's happiness. Not proving someone wrong, but proving to yourself that you never needed their validation in the first place. And that's how you win. So the next time someone says, she will regret it, remember this. She might not. But either way, you will heal. Because regret belongs to the one who lost something real. And peace belongs to the one who gave love with honesty. If you're reading this, maybe you're someone like Arav. Maybe you gave your best and still ended up alone. Maybe someone left when you needed them most. Listen, one day they will remember you. They will think of your softness, your patience, your honesty. And it will hurt them in ways you'll never see. But by then, you'll be too busy building the life you deserve. Too peaceful to care. Too healed to look back. And that's the real ending. Not she regretted it, but you grew past it. Speech balloon because the ultimate victory isn't when they come back. It's when you no longer need them to. Subscribe now to Psych Secrets and be part of a journey where every video inspires you to see life with a new perspective.